We are live, good people.
What,
Yes.
what in the world are you doing over there, bro? You sound like you on a construction site or something.
Do I really? Is it loud?
Yeah.
Still? I have my television on.
No, I heard the TV, but it sounded like you were moving, you moving stuff or moving something around.
Yeah, I may have been. Um, okay, y'all know how we started. Party people, people partying in the place to be. He's Leroy McKenzie. I'm Dr. D. He's Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr. I'm Dr. D.
Put that
I ain't got
tag
no
on there, the
I ain't got
character coach.
I ain't got no skill. I ain't got no skill, clearly. See, I was trying to rhyme. I can't put character coach on it. I'm trying to rhyme with place to be.
I feel you on that. I
Yeah,
feel you on
yeah,
that.
yeah. What's up, y'all? Let us know where you're watching from. We have decided that we would stream from now on. My guys trying to get me to move from my personal page over to the character coach page, along with inside the community on LinkedIn and on YouTube. So we are in 4 different spaces. Trust me, I tried the IG again. It does not like me. Therefore, because I'm petty, I do not like it. I believe in relationships that are reciprocal in nature. If you don't rock with me, I don't rock with you. So I don't really care about, I don't, I do not care about Instagram. Instagram can go to hell. I don't care about Instagram. But I am in the places that I genuinely want to be and need to be. Facebook, my page, my business page inside the Reman community, on LinkedIn, and on YouTube. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. Let me go over here. Leroy is going to do the same. We're going to go to our pages and we're going to make sure we're sharing it out, highlight it, all the things that we do to make sure that everybody can get on. If you are watching, I need you, and I see several of you are. I need you just to kind of holler at your boy. Let me know.
Just don't yell.
Let me know that you're watching. At followers. At highlight. Cool. And then let me go inside the Remand community and let's do the same. Because we really only have, I got a podcast interview that I've got to do in about 50 minutes. And so we're going to keep our hoods down for a shorter period of time than we normally would. Um, let's see here. At everyone. If you have not gotten your copy of the Remand book, get your copy of the Remand book. We're going to talk about the Remand book a bit today. Those of you that are watching, share, like, comment, just so that as many people, we're able to reach as many people as we can today. I mean, just absolutely great things are happening. I am Donald Morton. I'm the founder of Remand. This is my guy. I'm going to let him introduce himself. And then we will talk a bit about nonsense because that's usually what the first 15 minutes is about nonsense, nothing in particular, just us clowning. The other day, yesterday, Leroy, we were on a business meeting call, and he said, "Hey man, I look back at the day before yesterday's call. We are absolute fools. Yeah, and we are. We actually like each other. So there's nothing fake about us clowning. We are brothers for real, for real. And so, yeah, man, introduce yourself, my guy.
What's going on, good people? I was listening to. I listened to myself yesterday morning when I was doing my live, right? I was like, I sound like a DJ. I was like, I am not trying to sound like no DJ.
D- DJ Leroy
I
McKenzie
know, right?
Jr.
On the wheels of steel, you know what I'm saying? I was
on
like, no,
the
yeah.
wheels of steel. Yes, sir.
I'm not trying to sound like no DJ. So, what's up, good people? It's your boy, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr., the Impact Builder. Welcome to another day of craziness.
That
Another
really
day of
is
craziness.
that really is true. And let me tell you how crazy it's been. Before I got on today, because I didn't want anyone to clown me when I came on today, this is what I decided to do. You will not catch me in a George Jefferson today. You will catch me everything smooth up here. Brothers, listen to me, brothers, if you don't have, you know, Dr. McKenzie Jr., he does it the old school way,
And
right?
which one is that one? Because I think
This is a brawn. This is a
oh,
brawn
okay.
neck dry,
Okay. Mhm.
right? Let me tell you something that's funny, not so funny, but funny. I was with my niece, right? Usually when I go to Delaware, this last time I stayed with my daughter, but usually I stay with my niece. And so they give me a place to lodge, right? When I'm there. Bruh, I was in the mirror like this, making sure my hair was solid. Brothers, if you don't do this, you need to,
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes,
right?
sir. Yeah, you better. You better.
And and Leroy, so when you shave your head, right? I don't know whether this has ever happened to you. It's happened to me a couple of times. Um, when you shave your head, somebody's laughing at us. I want to find out who's being disrespectful and laughing laughing at the folks, right? Um, bruh, I forgot that just below where you shave, this hair still grows. So my niece said she was cooking dinner and she said, "Hey, Brunk," she calls me Brunk because I'm more like a brother than an uncle, right? I'm really her uncle, but we are so close in age, she calls me Brunk. She said, "Hey, Brunk." I said, "What's up?" She said, "How they let you out the house like that? Like you got a whole," she said, "You
Whole
got a
line
whole
back there.
mullet. You got a whole mullet in the back of your neck." How did Marlon let you out the house with a whole mullet in the back of your neck? And so now I'm real cognizant of it. I'll start pulling back there because it was a lot of hair, Leroy. This was all smooth, but back there I had a whole beard, man. Somebody,
Oh, that's funny. That's
bro,
funny, man.
it was just absolutely disrespectful. So I have decided to be really, really clear about you know what's going on back here as well. Those of you that are watching on Facebook, thank you for engaging with us. If you don't have one of these, I'm not going to tell you what it is. I just told Leroy what it is, but they don't pay me, and so that because they don't pay me, I'm not going to endorse them. I just tell you that that it makes a smooth shave for me. Do me a favor, if you're watching on Facebook, it's going to ask you at the very beginning to connect and put your name on it, because otherwise we just see Facebook user,
Right.
right?
Right.
We don't really see what your name is. We just see Facebook user. So I want to be able to know who it is. Inbox. Yeah, you got to tell me who you are, bro or sis. You got to tell me who you are because I really don't know. And that's the other thing, Leroy. Let me tell you, this is just kind of dump on Donald Day. And I'm gonna dump on me first before Leroy gets an opportunity to dump. He's already started early this morning, posting on my phone, on my page, on my wall about androids. This Negro said he will buy a new house phone before he ever buys. How many of y'all remember the house phone, right? I remember not just the push button house phone. I remember the dial,
Yes,
right?
sir. You couldn't mess up.
Yeah, you can't mess up. Like, you hang up and it take you 2 weeks to dial the phone. Yes, I remember. Oh, what's up, my guy? Good to see you, man. Are you inside the community or are you on my business page, bruh? Yeah, redeem. That's my guy. Um, so yeah, he started early today. So because I'm petty, I had to go on his live and just down about where his because he has two sets of rules, right? He's not really a man of integrity because he's got two sets of rules, right? He's got a set of rules where he wears his earpieces for his own personal lives, right? So if you go on his personal lives, which happen every day at about 9 o'clock in the morning, right? So if you go on his personal page, you'll be able to catch the nuggets that he's dropping. But you can't believe the nuggets that he's dropping because on one hand, he's got his wrap around his ear like those things. But then when he comes to hang out with us, he got wires hanging from his ears. So we're not special. Look, we're not special to the brother. The brother is only special on his own personal life. There's no integrity in that. There's no character in that. And as leader of Remain, founder of Remain, I try to make sure that that we are consistently providing guests on our podcast that are men of integrity. So, keeping that in mind, here's what we're going to do today. We're going to remove Dr. Leroy because Dr. Leroy has decided not to be a man of integrity and character, and he's going to until he is willing to show up with integrity and character, he cannot come back.
Oh shoot.
So are you willing to make a promise today that you're going to find a way to use your other piece? Because we see wires and we don't know.
Bruh, do we have to have this conversation again? I told you we've gone there and you saw what happened. Would you say, "Oh, I can't hear you. I can't. You sound muffled." I said, "I sound just fine when I'm doing my live with my earbuds, but evidently."
I think it's a conspiracy. I think it's a conspiracy. I think you and the Android people have this conspiracy that when you're on a live with someone with an iPhone or a Mac or whatever the case may be, that you just don't want to be heard. You don't want to be heard. And when you don't want to be heard, you're not heard. So those of you that agree with me, type a one in the chat with if you agree with Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr., type a two in the chat. And just know if I see a bunch of
That
twos in the
I
chat.
bet if I use my earbuds, I bet you all of the Android folks could hear me fine.
Right, right. So I want to know. I want to know who all the Android users are, the iPhone users. If you are an iPhone user, put a one in the chat. If you are an Android user, put a two in the chat. I'd like to know who. Right? I want to know who is who. Redeemed, my guy. Are you an iPhone user or are you a Android? Oh my God. That dude said he's an Android user. And I promise you that was one of my favorite dudes before he just said that. Lala said one. Lala said one.
Well, y'all, she in the household, so she should. Yeah.
Yeah, but she don't agree with most of what I say, right? So we battle in here all the time. So Lala says, and Redeem said he's this way for life. He said he an Android user for life.
I
Well,
told you, we loyal.
she said, but I
Can't
still
say that for the act.
Lala says she still has her Android. And the truth of the matter is, when I first started dating her, I was like, yeah, this is not gonna work. Yeah, this is not, this is not
Say we not equally yoked.
we are not. We
You
are
can't be an Android.
not.
I gotta do that post. We can't be equally yoked if you're an Android user and you an iPhone user. We not equally yoked.
Yeah, so you gonna have to come on over, sis, because this is not. Yeah. I play a lot of games, but that ain't a game I play. Right? When you mess up the blue bubbles, this is a part of what the problem is with y'all. Right? So when we're in a group chat and you guys mess up the blue bubbles, and we see green, we're like, man, who in the heck got an Android? Because otherwise we know that everything is solid. While you guys are coming in, the numbers are growing. Thank you for hanging out with us today. We always enjoy y'all hanging out with us. Do me a favor, type your name in, let us know who you are. I see Redeem. Redeem, that's not your man. Tell me your first name again. That's my dude. Tremendous gift. Just tell me your first name, bro, because I know it's not redeemed. I know that's what
Share it out to people, good
and
people.
share it out.
If it
Yeah.
gets shared, share
Share it
it
out,
with folks,
Lala.
please.
Share it out, bruh. Um, I don't know whether I want Redeem to share it out. Daryl, yeah, Daryl. So I don't want Daryl to share it out at all because I'm assuming that his whole circle of friends are Android users. Um, and that does not do well for what points I'm attempting to make today. So Leroy has this like they don't we go back to we do go back, be ready, Jesus is coming. There is a church in Delaware, Leroy, called Be Ready, Jesus is Coming Apostolic Church.
Okay.
And bruh, when I talk about not just and shout out to them, I've not been in that ministry for quite some time, but they were, and I don't know whether they still are or not. Daryl, you can kind of tell me, bruh. They were heavily involved with obviously ministry stuff, worship, but they were also heavily involved with outreach. So
Okay.
they were
Hmm.
on shucks on the west side of Wilmington, situated right in a neighborhood that needed them. They did tremendous work. Yes, sir. Yeah, man, they did tremendous work and still doing tremendous work. So yeah, that brother is just a dope brother for real, for real. So thank you for reminding me of your first name, man. I sometimes don't connect. Like I don't know Leroy most days. Fourth and Rodney Street in Wilmington, Delaware. And because hey Daryl, my wife is apostolic as well, bruh. She's an apostolic. Um, and I told her there's the other thing, like you gotta come on over to the Baptist side. That's why she always says Acts 2:38, because that's the only scripture she know. Acts 2:30. What's Acts 2:38 say? Yeah, there are more scriptures in the Bible than Acts 2:38. Right. So I want to thank you guys for hanging on with us, hanging out with us. Do me a favor. We about to put the hoodies on. Now you know when we put the hoodies on, it's about to go down. We're about to share some principles, not too much in apostolics, not too much on apostolics. I, when I've lied, tell me I've lied. But yeah, tell me another scripture other than Acts 2:38. So what we want to be able to address today, Leroy. You got anything before we put the hoodies on, man?
No, I think we good. Let's do it because I know you on a you gotta do a
I
hard
got a
stop.
tight
So
timeline today. Yes,
yeah.
sir. I gotta go on a podcast with my boy Lou Rosado. I'm on his podcast today, and so I don't know when it's going to air, but I'm recording with him today. So you got to check out the podcast. Here we go. Hoodies up. Hoodies up.
Yes, sir.
All right, people. This is what we want to talk about today. Got to go, brothers. Blessings and thank you for what you do for men. Thank you, man. Thank you for acknowledging this work. It's hard work, but it's fulfilling work. I mean, I just absolutely I would pay somebody to let me do this work. For real. I would pay somebody to let me do this work. This is just phenomenal work to see brothers' lives transformed. Uh, Welcome to the Huddle Exchange. I am Donald Morton, founder of Remand. This is Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr., Chief Operations Officer of Remand. And we are going to pull a page from the Remand book today and help you to grow. We're going to pull a page from the Remand book today. We're going to help you to grow. I want to, Leroy, I want to talk about chapter 27. And then I want to
Okay.
extract some principles of chapter 27. If you have not read the Remand book, if you've purchased the Remand book, you should have a digital copy. If you have not purchased the Remand book, there's no way that you would have a digital copy. But I want to talk about the chapter on high standards. I want to talk about
Mm,
the chapter on high standards, having these high standards. I watched the majority of your broadcast today, and I heard you talk about mediocrity a little bit and things of that nature. I've got 5 principles that I want to lay out, but talk a little bit more about the importance of having high standards, Leroy, in in a brother's life, in his business, in his relationship, having and maintaining a high standard.
I mean, here's what happens when you have standards. You live your life in such a way that there's a certain expectation. And I know from what you've talked about your mom, she had a certain expectation from you.
Absolutely, bro.
Same thing with my mom and my dad. There was a standard that you had to live up to in our house, in my mom's house. You wasn't just gonna be out here doing any and everything. You weren't gonna, there was a way that you conducted yourself, there was a way that you carried yourself, there was education that was going to be a part of it. That was the standard that was set.
Yes.
They set the standard. She set the standard for me and my sisters. It was, this is what you're going to do. There's no there's no debate about it. Yeah, this is this is a dictatorship in here. There's no you know, and what that does, it gives you the ability to be able to have certain principles in your life. And that's what and I tell you all the time, what I love about Remain, it gives men principles to guide themselves by.
Yes,
And
sir.
when you guide yourself by certain principles, by a certain way of living, you will find yourself achieving and accomplishing those things that you want to accomplish in your life. Those that don't have standards, they can get mad, from this and everything like that. But when those that don't have standards, don't they operate without boundaries? They
Yeah.
operate without saying, it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna go and be fluid, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
But when you attach standards to yourself, you say, "No, there's certain things that I'm not going to do. There's certain things I'm just not going to accept." And that's the
Yeah.
biggest thing, is when you have standards, there's certain things that you will not accept.
Yeah.
And I think about Dave Chappelle when he
Yeah.
got that offer of $50 million.
Yes.
He had a standard.
Yes.
He was like, "Nah, y'all trying to do something or take me where it is that I'm not willing to go." And you can't put enough zeros behind, you know, the five
Yeah.
in order for me to say yes to you, because I know the cost of that.
Yeah.
I know what it's going to cost me if I do accept that.
Yeah.
And fellas, when you have standards, you force yourself to say, okay, what is the cost of me not having, like you just mentioned a little while ago, having integrity? What's the cost of me not having, and conducting myself in such a way that I have the integrity that I'm supposed to have? I operate with honor. What's the cost of me not operating that way? It can cost you your family. It can cost you your relationship. It can cost you your business. Look at some of the things that are going on in this world today.
Absolutely.
When you don't have standards, those are the things. The fall is inevitable.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
truly believe that.
Yeah. No doubt
Not,
about
s-
it, man.
not saying that we're perfect. Not saying that nobody's perfect, but you've got to have You've got to have those standards.
And let's address this too. I think everybody has standards, right? So I
You
think what
think
we
so?
want, I think I do.
Mm,
I don't think everybody has high standards. I think everybody has a standard that they have developed, and whether intentionally or unintentionally, a standard is just a benchmark, right? You can
mm,
actually have high standards, you can have low standards,
mm,
but a standard is simply a benchmark, a way by which you determine or measure whether or not you are doing something. It is a set of principles, right?
mm,
So the question I think becomes, how do we raise our standards?
mm,
I remember years ago, and my son, if he were on here, my oldest son, if he were on here, I think I told this story before, Leroy. We took my son, took our entire family to Disney, and we stayed inside a hotel that yeah, it wasn't the best hotel, right? And my son, he was the first one to disrobe, right? Laid in the bed. All of us was like, no, no, we're not staying here, man. Get off of that bed. Right? He was like, what? This is great. What are y'all talking? Right? we had been exposed to another standard, a
yeah,
higher
yeah,
standard. Didn't make it
yeah.
better, didn't make it better at all. It just means that there was a higher standard from my perspective, right?
Mm,
What I want brothers to know, we often use the Mamba here, right, to kind of determine the standard. We often use Kobe Bryant to determine the standard, the Black Mamba. Here's the deal. He had a standard, and there are other guys in the NBA that had a standard as well. His standard, though, far reaching above the standard that they had set for themselves.
mm,
He said, I'm going to be in the gym at 5 in the morning. They said, I'll catch you at 3 in the afternoon. But what part of what his standard did was set him heads and shoulders above the rest. So part of what we want brothers to be able to acknowledge is that wherever your standard is, I'm wondering, brothers, whether or not you can acknowledge and can agree and are willing to do the hard work of wherever your standard is, let's elevate that standard. Let's elevate that standard. Let's elevate that standard. Let's step up into something greater so that we can actually experience something greater. So, Leroy, I'd like to talk about these 5 laws. Now, this is what a law is, y'all. A law is nothing more than a fixed or established principle that functions the same way every time for no matter who operates in the principle. A law is a fixed or established principle that operates the exact same way for whoever involves themselves in the principle. So I know a lot of people don't like it, but here's the deal. There are laws of the universe. If I got on top of my house right now and I jumped off, there is no respecter of persons with the law, right? There are no respecters of persons with the law. With the law, if I jump off my house right now, I'm going down. What's that song, Leroy? I'm going.
mm. By Mary J.
I'm going down. Right? And it's not that the law doesn't like me. The law doesn't care. It's not that the law doesn't like me, the law doesn't care. There are fixed and established principles, laws that govern the universe. There are fixed and established laws that govern the spirit. There are fixed and established laws that govern life. And if we could somehow master the principle, this is what you talk about often. We can somehow master the laws, master the principles. Doesn't matter whether you man, woman, black, white, doesn't matter. Those laws will work for you, just like the law of gravity will work for you or against you, so will these laws that we're about to talk about today. So I want to really address these 5 laws that I think are important, right? So we're going to talk about the 5 laws of going the extra mile. What are the benefits of going the extra mile, right? You got to be willing, brothers, to do more than the next guy. You got to be willing to do more than the next guy, not less than the next guy. There are many of us that are being raised in today's society, Dr. McKenzie Jr., to want to have more pay with less work.
Yep.
We want more pay with less work, right? We want to make sure that if he ain't doing all that, why should I be doing it? Because regardless of what anybody else is doing around you, you should be willing to go the extra mile. It should be a part of your core to be a man of excellence. So here we are. Here's number one that I'd like to talk about. I'm gonna read it, Dr. McKenzie Jr., and then you can kind of expound. Here's law number one. Law number one is proactive engagement. We're going to talk about this today for those of you that are entrepreneurs, those of you that are business owners, those of you that want to start business. These are laws that will work for you. Here's law number one: proactive engagement. Don't wait for your customer or client to ask for help. Anticipate their needs and offer solutions before they even realize they need them. Here's what I've discovered, Leroy, and then I want you to talk about this a bit, man. What I've discovered is for every solution you provide as an answer to a problem, another problem is created. This is why business is so brilliant. So you can actually meet a need, right? And when you meet that need, what you will find is that another problem is created off of the solution you just provided. Another problem will emerge. And your responsibility is to always position yourself to have a solution for the problems that emerge. I'm sure you would agree, man, that fundamentally all business is providing a solution to a problem. That's all business is. Talk about principle number one, law number one, man, proactive engagement.
Yeah. If you here's what sets people apart. Here's what sets the good from the great, or the great from the good, is the anticipation of what the needs are going to be personally, you, and if professionally, if you're being an entrepreneur, of what your clients are in need of. And actually, I like what you just said about creating a need by filling a by filling a
Absolutely.
need. And
Absolutely.
that's, and it's truly, even what I've seen, and what I've done, even with Remain, and even with my business, is when I there was a certain, with the books. I'll give you an example. With they were some of my clients, or several of my clients that I had, it wasn't just them needing to publish a book, needing to have it edited. But what I found in
Right.
doing that was that they needed a press kit. They
Right,
needed
Leroy.
they needed other aspects to go along with that.
Yes, sir.
So it becomes, but the only way that you discover that is by thinking, okay, what else are they going to, do they need, what other problem are they going to have? What other problem do I see them having? And thinking forward, and
Yeah.
then being engaged enough
Yes.
with them to talk with them about it.
Yes.
What those needs are. Now we're talking about getting ready to go into 2024, and I hope that the fellas will do this. What is it that you're looking to do in 2024? What do you want to do? What does your 20 a year from today? What's the day? Is the day the 22nd, or 20? Is it 21st?
Today's the 21st.
21st. So
Yes.
this is December 21, 2023. A year from today, December 21st, 2024, where is it that you want to be? Have you even thought that far ahead
Right.
for yourself and for your business? What does it look like? And in order for you to get there, there's certain things that you have to do. You've got to be proactive in thinking about it. You've got to be actively engaged in what that looks like for you, as a business, as an entrepreneur, and then from and your clients, because here's what happens is when you meet the need, you then can exceed the expectation. What are they expecting from me? What are they looking to gain from me in looking at being proactive?
Absolutely.
So you just gotta you have to think forward. You got to to take time to sit and go over these things. Turn the TV
Intention.
off.
You got to intentionally do it.
Yeah.
Turn the TV off, turn the radio off, turn the gaming system off,
Turn
and
the phone off.
plug into what you've got to do. Here's principle number two, law number two.
Yep.
It's the law of personalization and attention to detail. You're going to have to, brothers, tailor your services to meet the specific preferences and requirements of each customer. So I want Leroy to kind of talk about this from two ways. Number one is you've got to be able to meet, you got to tailor your services to meet the specific preferences and requirements of your ideal customer. So your ideal customer is someone that is different than everybody else's customer. I don't serve women. I serve men. But sometimes serving men requires me to support women who are trying to understand their men. But my ultimate goal is not to serve the woman. My ultimate goal is to serve the brother and to help brothers be better in their families, so on and so forth, right? So the law of personalization and attention to detail says this. It says, look, identify your ideal client, and then in your core of ideal clients, each of them have preferences. Each of them have quirks. Each of them have ways that they view life. And not only is it necessary for you to identify your ideal client and to serve them, to tailor your services toward them, but it's also necessary to drill down even further, go the extra mile, drill down even further, and of your ideal clients, identify what in their lives, in their businesses, in their families, does that man need? You got your ideal client, all of them, but then you've got individual ideal clients that have different needs and preferences that they have. Talk about that, Leroy.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you are honed in on your ideal client. You want to know everything about them, backwards and forwards, up and down, all of those things. Because here's what happens: once you understand who they are, what their needs are, the problem that you can solve for them, you can better speak the language to them because they speak a certain language. Your avatar, your ideal client has a language. And the more you know about them, the
Yes,
more you're able to solve their problem. And
yes,
they will understand, hey, this is the problem that I have, and I see that this particular company does that, and
yes,
they've articulated that to me. Like Donald said, with Remain, our avatar is
absolutely,
adult black men.
absolutely,
And our goal is to solve the problem for adult black men in meeting and exceeding their those obstacles and those things that they're going to encounter on a daily basis, giving them the tools to be able to address them.
absolutely,
That's it. That is a need.
absolutely. And each of those ideal clients have specific issues that they are
Yep.
dealing with that you're going to have to know how to serve as well. So when we talked about law number one, we talked about being proactive. So when you understand your ideal client and you understand the individuals that are part of your ideal client base, then you'll be proactive around finding out what they're going to need in order for them to overcome in their journey to reaching their full potential, right? So when I deal with guys who are CEOs, right? already, whether if they're working on a job and they're CEO or they're in the C-suite, they're COO, they're CFO, whatever the case may be, he has a particular set of challenges that is very different than the black man that I'm serving coming out of prison. Each of them are equally valuable, and both of them are my ideal client. But I have to address them differently because they have a different set of circumstances. Each of them are trying to reach their full potential. Each of them are attempting to break a cycle, interrupt the pattern. Each of them are attempting to do that. But I've got to know each of them and what their struggles are, obstacles are, challenges are, so I can craft a plan alongside of them to help them reach their full potential. So if that makes sense to y'all, do me a favor, type a one in the chat. If that makes sense to y'all, if it doesn't make sense and you need us to go a little deeper into that, too bad, because we're not able to go deeper into that today. All right, so here is number three. Number three is the law. Number three is follow up. This is so important, so important. Follow up and feedback. Law number three is follow up and feedback. Here's what that means. After providing a service, brothers, follow up to ensure your customers is satisfied and seek feedback from them. We're going into 2024 inside Remain after doing this very thing. Hearing the hard realities of whether or not we were serving our clients in a way that was getting them the results that they genuinely want to get, and whether or not we were serving them in a way that was in excellence. We found out that there was much room for improvement. Now, we could have taken the information and the feedback that we got back and cussed everybody out and say, you don't know what you're talking. We could have did all that. Or we could say, got you. That makes perfect sense. Got you. We didn't do that. Got you. We didn't do that. And then take that feedback back and go back and craft something that is excellent for the men that we serve. Leroy, talk about law number three, man. Follow up and feedback.
Yeah, we can't stress enough just how important follow up and feedback is, because one, the follow up is, it gives you the ability to know if you accomplish what it is that you accomplish. One of the things that I noticed about Giant, I don't know if Giant is a national chain, so I believe it's everywhere, but I don't know if you shop at Giant. But one of the things that is a part of their customer service, when you come up to the counter, the thing that they ask you is, did you find everything that you needed
I
today?
do remember that. I do remember
They
that.
ask you that. They ask you that specific question. And they're intentional about asking it, because if they get the feedback, no, I wasn't able to find A, B, or C, they then know, hey, well, did you check in? It might be something that we have and you just looked in the wrong aisle. Or if it's something that we don't have, that we might consider having, because if enough people start asking about it, then it's something that we need to know that we need to have in the store.
And in addition to that, do we have is our are our aisles efficient? Like, is
Correct.
everything like don't have butter near the noodles. Like like there's nothing more frustrating than to go down the spaghetti aisle looking for everything that I need to get to spaghetti, and then come up against toothpaste. Like, that don't go here. So a part of the reason why they asked the question is, were you able to find everything, is being able to say, hey, we put this here and this was our logic. Or if we say as a customer that don't belong there, then they go back to the drawing board and say, hey, maybe he's right. Maybe that doesn't go there. Maybe it goes here, because it's a greater flow and efficient way to be able to use time and space.
Yeah, and that's the feedback. Now the follow up is, it also is, did we meet your need?
Did
Did
we
we give
meet your? Whoo, yes, sir.
did we solve your problem? That's what we're at. Did we solve your problem? The problem
Yes,
that you had, you came to us before. You came to us because you had a problem, like you were
yes.
saying. And we're in business to solve a problem. Did we solve that problem? Because if I'm not solving your problem, I'm gonna go to somebody else. Who
Absolutely.
can
And we
so?
can't, this is a part of character, gentlemen. It's the reason why, as a CEO, as an entrepreneur, you must have character, because character gives transparently and it expects transparency. Right. So when someone says to you, no, you're not meeting my need, don't get upset, don't get pissed and put it on them like, well, you ain't the real, you don't know what you're doing with. Just you got to be able to embrace the fact that there's something on your end that you can shift and you can change so that you are actually meeting the needs of the people you are called to serve. You can't get pissed off, bro, when something happens that I know it's your baby. I know it's something you birthed from the ground up. I get it. But when you put, Leroy, would you agree? When you put this thing in the market will eat you.
Oh,
The
for
market is
sure.
going to tell you the market is going to tell you the truth.
I like that. It sure will. We can. You hear people. Well, I know my worth, and I know this. Yeah, the people will speak and let you know if that's true or not. You can think that you have the greatest product or service that there is out there, but if that market ain't feeling you, if that market
Uh,
ain't feeling that product,
and they
and they
ruthless.
saying, nah, that ain't it. Trust
Yeah,
me, it's been many of products that have come on the market. People like, nah, that ain't it. That that is not it. You need to go back to the drawing board. You need to do whatever you need to do because
right.
that's not it.
And there was a
Yeah.
story about a Lala says that's how you measure your SMART goals. Efficacy. Yeah, efficacy. And being able to get feedback. Am I
Mm-hmm.
actually meeting your need? If I'm not, I don't get offended. I go back
Yeah.
to the drawing board, say, hey,
I
how do
said,
we
what do I
tweak the
need to
black
do?
print? How do we tweak? I know the arc works. So how do we go back and face that in a way that impacts further what you're doing in business, family, or so on and so forth. I remember a story, Leroy. I don't know whether you've ever heard this story of a guy, CEO of a dog food company, and he hired a bunch of marketers, right,
Hmm.
and said, "Hey, sell the dog food." And after a year, uh, nothing changed, and so he hired another company. And he said, and they went for a year, and nothing changed. Things got worse. Did the same thing for a third year. He's livid by this time, right? Like, hey, y'all don't know what y'all doing. One of his employees said this, sir, can I say something? He's like, yes. What do you have to contribute? He said, have you considered that the dogs just don't like the dog food?
The food.
Like, the dogs think the dog food is trash. They don't like the dog food. It's not marketing. It's the fact that the dogs have spoken. They don't like the dog food. So a part of, instead of making excuses, brothers, about your marketing, or maybe your product or your service needs some tweaking, and it's okay. It
Yep.
takes a minute to find your footing and a rhythm and so on and so forth.
I don't know if you've ever heard the story about Formula 409,
I
the
have
the
not.
the,
I
the
remember it.
cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
But here's how they got the name. It took them 408
God,
times
dog. As soon as you
to
said it,
get.
I
Yeah,
really.
I told you, y'all got to watch the History Channel. It's they do this series. It's called the Cars That Built America, the Titans That Built America. It talks about companies. Formula 409. They got the name because it took 408 times to get it wrong before they got it
Wow.
right on the 409th time.
Boy, you just help somebody, even me. You know, because our egos are like, man, I'm a knock
Right.
you out the park on day one. And so when people come back to you and say, yeah, that didn't work for me. Like, what? There's something wrong with you. There's not wrong
Right.
with you, right? And so I did not know that.
Yeah. Yep.
408 times they didn't come up
408
with a
times.
formula that worked. 409th time
They
this
got
works,
it
and they
right.
made millions of dollars off of the 409th time. Brothers,
Yep.
imagine what would have happened if they would have given up at 372,
Yep. Exactly.
right? So I want all of us to recognize the importance of continuing to go. Here's number 4. Law number 4: empathy and compassion. It's a law. You got to understand and connect with your customers on a personal level. There is a know, like, and trust factor. So you have to show genuine concern for their needs and their circumstances and go out of your way to accommodate them. What would it look like, brothers, if you decided to develop inside your business? And I know that there are several people, and I'm one of them, that have problems with the customer is always right, because the customer is not always right. But you got to make sure that they think that they are, right?
Dude,
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
one of my business books, that title, "The Customer is Not Always Right." That's the title of it. The
Yes,
customer's not always right, and it came from that very thing. But here's what I say: the customer's not always right, but they do come first.
they do come first. I can
That
get with
you
that.
you you put there, you put what it is that you know that their needs are. You got to put that in front of, yeah, they wrong. And real quick, because I know I don't want to be too long with it, but me and my best friend, this was years ago. She was like, I got these tickets, got these rain check tickets to go to the movies. She was like, you want to go to the movie? Like, sure, let's roll. We get to the movies, go to the movies. She gives them these tickets. The ticket person says, I'm sorry, man, but these tickets aren't any good. They're not our tickets. She's like, what? I just got these. So she goes on trying to explain. I was like, all right, me being, I'm Mr. Fix it, whatever. Let me tell you. I go up, what are you talking about? The tickets aren't any good. They got this. Sorry, sir. We're not gonna, we can't take, these are not our tickets. And so I got a little loud, she got a little loud, and they were like, we're sorry, we're gonna call the cops if y'all don't leave. So we leave. The next day she calls me and she said, Leroy, she said, I found the tickets. She's like, she had evidently had these orange tickets that looked just like the rain check ticket. I was like, you about to get me locked up. You about to get me locked up, backing you up. And so I know the customer, we're not
The
always right
customer
as
was just
customers.
not right. Yeah,
Just
the
straight
customer was
wrong.
was
We
not.
just straight
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah,
But
absolutely. So,
and
but
and
the
and so
customer
we've
is
got to.
first, though. And so maybe in that kind of scenario, the guy behind the counter says, "Hey, I don't know what can be done, right? But you want to keep, while that person is there in front of your counter, you want to keep them there. You want them to see the movies that are playing at your theater. And I don't know exactly what can be done, uh, whether there are, because you can't create comp tickets, because then everybody is like, all you got to do is show up with some bogus
Right.
tickets, and
You know what I'm
you know
saying?
what I mean.
Right.
But looking for creative ways of being able to keep a person there at your theater to watch your movie, uh, even those that are belligerent and cuss you out, cuss you out, right? You want to find a way to accommodate them. Here's number 5, law number 5: innovation and creativity. That's what we were just talking about. As a business owner, you have to continuously think outside the box to provide unique and memorable experiences. You got to use creativity to enhance the customer experience, because it can and will set you apart. There, there are so many businesses that are so mediocre that ain't even trying. They're not even trying to be creative. They don't have
Yep.
a research and development department, which is one that we're developing in 2024, a research and development department that is always looking for new ways of products and services, things that we can provide our customer base, right? There has to be someone that is always thinking about creative ways to reach. Like my wife is incredibly, she's a creative, right? It frustrates the heck out of me because I'm black and white, and she's coming to think about ways that we can, build a house with straw, right? She's thinking about ways we can do things differently. As a creative, she's looking at how we can do things to reach different markets. So to our point yesterday, she was the first one that said, "Hey, we probably want to do T-shirts too. You don't just want to do hoodies that with embroidery. You probably want to do some other things as well." And I'm like, "Nah," because I'm black and white. I'm black and white. She's looking at creative ways to be able to create an experience. So law number 5, gentlemen, is create a department in your company that is dedicated to innovation and creativity. Create a department and ask people who are they're creative to sit in that department and always come up with new ideas and ways in which you can serve your ideal client. You got to be able to do that. If you're not going to do that, you're going to get stuck. Leroy, you got 30 seconds, man, to give it your all with this law number 5. Then I got to get out of here.
Yeah, and here's the thing that you do with that. That's where feedback comes in. Talk to your clients, talk to your customers, because they will tell you what will make their experience greater with you. And you use that to feed into being more creative and being innovative, because it's all about creating a better experience. Take your 2024 and ask yourself, how can I make this experience for my clients, for my customers better in 2024?
That's the goal. That's the question. Hoods off. We hate to do it abruptly today, but I got a podcast that I've got to interview on, and it's on StreamYard. So I got to use my account to be able to get on it. This has been a great conversation. Keith James said, "Good morning, great conversation." Thank you, bro. Hopefully these principles can help. Leroy, say goodbye to the people, man.
Yes, sir. Have a great day, people. Be good. Stay warm because it's cold up here. I know. I don't know if it's cold. It was 31 degrees. 31 degrees up here. I was like, man.
It's not as cold here. Let me see what it is here in Atlanta. It is. It's 42 here. Today it's gonna be 57. It'll be 57
Okay.
here today.
So it's gonna
Yeah,
get pretty warm. Okay,
yeah,
that's cool.
yeah. It's gonna be okay. So, all
Yes,
right,
sir.
y'all. We love and respect y'all. We'll talk soon. Leroy, we got some things we'll talk about later on today, so
Yes,
we
sir.
can figure out what's happening with the stuff that we
Yes,
got
sir.
we got going on. All right, y'all. Talk soon.
Later.
Peace.